For this video, we're going to go into how to set up the integration for Auvik. Now selecting the admin tab, then the integrations, and finding Auvik under monitoring. From there, we're going to need to find the domain, prefix, username, and API key, which we'll be switching over to Auvik shortly to show you where to find that information. Now we're within Auvik, and we have to make sure that we have an account that has API access roles. And what that means is we go to our manage users, roles, and we created a specific role within that to make sure that we can have an account that will let us pull the information in. So if I click these edit settings here, these are going to be the options that you're going to need to make sure to have that information crossover. You can name this whatever you like. We have our API access, and then scrolling down, these are the options that we're going to set. So I'll leave these up here for a minute so you can see exactly what we're doing. And once you have these permissions all put together, we can hit save. Now that we have that, make sure that you invite a user to this role because we'll be using those credentials to give us access to the integration. So now let's talk about getting those items we need. In this case, it's going to be grabbing our Auvik domain and our prefix. So in case of our domain, we can actually use this link right here as long as it matches up with the one in our instance. So we can see up here at the top that the US2 my Auvik is what we're looking for, and the section in front of it is also what we're going to pull. So I'm going to copy this, go back in, and place my domain prefix. In other words, the item that comes before your US2. After that, we're going to use our credentials for the account that we've used for the integration role. In this case, we already have our user connected. So I'm going to quick add in that username, and we're going to show you where to find the API key. So currently I am within my profile for the user that will be used for the API. In that case, we have the email right here. That will be the username account. So I'll quick copy that, move that over to our integration. And now we have our username, and below that, we're going to find our key. So I'm going to go back into Auvik, and we can find our key right here. So I'll regenerate this key. We're going to copy this, and I'm going to hit save. After this is saved, you will then be able to activate it. As a quick note, if we go into our instance and add the API key before saving it, the connection will fail. So make sure that we are in our profile, save the key somewhere else, hit save on that key, and now this will be an active key to use for the integration. We have our information here, and while we can skip importing devices, we actually want to keep those coming in and instead hit save settings and now test our connection. Our connection was successful, so that means that we can now start our sync. I'll click start, and we can give that a moment. And while we're talking about that, if there is a connection failure, make sure you're using the correct spelling for that login name. That is very important. And in your domain and prefix, be sure that you don't have any extra periods or differences. This will be case sensitive to bring your information over. We're going to skip ahead a little bit, and we have two unmatched companies. We already have some matched companies that do share similar names, but if you are bringing in companies and there isn't a match within Hudu, it will automatically assign you one to create that company to place the information in. In this current case, we have everything that we need. So instead, I'm going to hit accept match. Since we have a proper sync and our test connection worked, we're going to stop our sync and start this again to bring in the information from Auvik. Now, this might take an extra minute to bring those items in. And if you have specific filters or locations within Hudu that you want that information to go into, it's important to talk about our edit settings. While we can rematch the entities that are coming in, if we want to set up our sort rules before we do our first sync. So after we match our companies, let's go into our edit settings and we'll create the alignment that we have here. So this is what will come in from Auvik, and we get to choose where in Hudu these items will be placed. So we can determine if we want our workstations to be put in as desktops, or we can customize those as we like and save those settings. With those settings applied, we're going to stop and then restart that sync. So we're going to apply those edit settings that we had Give it a moment and then we'll do the same thing. Let it refresh. And now we have those items coming in. We still have more devices being connected, so that sync is still in progress, but we can see the asset layout that we chose within Hudu has been applied to our devices that we set it to originally. If you have any more questions on Auvik or how to set it up, please feel free to comment down below or reach out to us at our support team. Thank you.